listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show.
Oh, so where's the music?
Yeah, where's the music?
There it is.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all we
good.
get?
That's it. Just a few seconds. Welcome to Monday Night Raw After Show. I'm Rick Drasin. I normally host SmackDown on Sunday, but I'm sitting in tonight for our host because he's out on maternity leave for a moment. And Ryan asked me to come down and host this. Just to let you know briefly, I did 48 years of pro wrestling. I was in the ring up until the age of 58 when I tore my quads, but I'm still active. I still watch it. I'm very, very old school, so I have my own opinions, which are my opinions and not that of the establishment. But they are opinions, and they are valid because I've been through the mill with wrestling with tons of injuries and tons of years of service. But we're going to talk about Raw tonight, and Bing is for doing, and what we're doing is Monday Night Raw After Show.
That's right.
So we have Ryan Clum, who's here every week.
I wasn't here last week, so I'm actually back here again. So
Okay,
I'm here and everyone else is gone.
We have Ryan Clum, who was here every week except for last week.
Except last week. And the normal guys are gone.
And
so.
we have the star of Happy Days. We have Fonz, who is not a super fan. He's your average guy on the street who watches wrestling occasionally, and he has his opinions as well. And they may not agree with mine or yours, but they're his opinion, and that's fine because we want the opinion of everybody. This is the guy who actually watches and has his own opinions of wrestling, which we want to talk about.
He's the average person out there that watches the most, the biggest demographic.
Biggest
of
demographic,
people
exactly.
that watch wrestling. Where
Exactly.
the ones that are kind of inside or the people that follow the internet are not your average wrestling fan.
Those are the super fans.
Those are the super fans, and there's a small group.
Those are the Ryan.
Miss an episode.
Those are the Ryan Clum people.
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, that's all right. We have to have a little bit of everything in life, and that's what makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go from this point to the we have the opening match.
Yeah, well, Ryback was out with just a little bit of promo, and he called out CM Punk and the NXT guys that attacked last night, because that was a big thing. Finally, they debuted Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, and the third guy's name escapes me right now, but the guys from Down in Development debuted and attacked Ryback in the match, which gave Punk the opportunity to defend.
And you had said these guys are ready for the next level.
They are, yeah. Ambrose and Rollins have been ready for a long time. Rollins is a former Ring of Honor champion, so he's even feuded with Daniel Bryan in the past. This is a guy that's ready.
That's good
so
stuff.
These are guys, and Dean Ambrose is going to be that great character. So people like to say, I've heard people compare him to, they've said, John Cena's Superman and CM Punk's Batman, then this guy's going to be the Joker.
I think it's great.
Yeah. So it'll be a great character.
We're ready for new blood.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Ryback versus Tensai. And
those two guys, Ryback and Tensai, are equally in size and different types of builds, but at least you got a competition going there.
Right.
You got two big hulk of guys that can get in there and mix it up quite a bit, and one will have to work with the other and sell for the other. It's not going to be a squash job.
Yeah, and I actually thought this was a good match.
It was a fun match to watch. Ryback, like I said earlier, is just a beast of a dude, and then Tensai is not quite so beastly, but he's just as big,
Right.
And anytime you have two massive guys going at each other, it's just fun.
Tensai's a different type of body. He's He's basically a wrestling body, where Ryback is.
He's like a classic kind of old school looking guy.
Very much so, and he's worked Japan. He knows the ins and outs of the business. He knows the tricks of the trade, and he's worked almost every level that way. So bringing his expertise into the ring with Ryback, who's been around a long time, but maybe not knows the same type of work, that's a good matchup.
Yeah, and then you've got Ryback, who is kind of like, I think, the guy that most people like appeal to and see. I know, like, Fonz has been over at my place before, and I've been like fast forward, and he goes, "Oh, stop there! That's the guy I like." I want to see that Ryback guy. So it's
and why is that?
Just I don't
The
know.
appearance.
That may be it. Just the fact that whole feed me more thing. That he's just. They're just. He reminds me of like the Roman gladiator.
Or
they just try and.
Or the Terminator.
Or the Terminator.
Big guy comes in and just eats everybody up.
Yeah.
And people want to see that.
People down one after another.
Exactly. He's got the body for it. He's got the
very
look, and
interesting.
And what you said, the sniff.
Yeah.
A little sinus infection.
I think that was Joe Schmo told us that story, and you see him do that.
You do see
he
him
totally does that
on
sniff.
purpose.
Yeah, because Vince likes the sniff.
Yeah, it's like a growl.
Yeah, but it's amazing now. He just has to get that little shoulder going to get that chant going.
Yeah.
Just as that little tip of the shoulder, and the fans start.
Exactly.
They love to chant things, and "Feed Me More" is easy to chant,
Yes.
and it's catchy, and I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
Chants and catchphrases.
Mm-hmm. And he was okay on the mic. I thought. I mean, he's been limited what they've had him say, but he's
Yeah, it's
still
okay.
okay.
It's okay. It's like
He
Hogan.
didn't really. That was the part he didn't like.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just. He just doesn't captivate me with his speaking the way he does with his wrestling.
Well, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. He doesn't have to say a whole lot. It's a visual.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the same thing with Hogan with the little. And his with the thing like this.
Right.
Everybody has their own little affliction
Yep.
that they throw in there for their body
Yeah,
language.
Macho Man had just the little.
Yep. Everybody has something.
Yep. Got to find that thing.
Yeah,
And he's got the shoulder twitch.
You actually do that pretty good.
The whole
I think you should do that on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah, I don't know. You got to be a star first, don't you?
Well, you'll be a star on the show.
All right, I got
okay.
you.
Where do we want to go from here, Ryan?
I guess we would then go on to Kofi versus Wade Barrett, which Wade Barrett said that Kofi is an embarrassment to the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, I disagree with that.
I disagree with that too, because that guy can do things nobody else can do.
He's amazing. And you got Barrett, two different types of wrestlers. It's completely different in the ring.
Yeah, which is always interesting, mixing styles. And I thought,
Sure.
I liked this match as well.
That was the match with the flying uppercut, right?
No, that was a little later. That was the Antonio Cesaro.
That's right.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I'm anxious to talk.
He's mixing up his.
Don't
his
rush
guys.
me on our first date. Kofi is amazing. He's all over the place, and he's so polished with his work and every little move he does that he can make anybody look good.
And you know what I'm starting to notice a little bit just the last couple days is I'm enjoying his comebacks.
Yes.
I think he's got really good comebacks, and
Yes.
so I'm starting to kind of look at how he constructs those a little bit. They're really good at just his jumping off the way he does his reverse high cross body. He gets so high in the air. I've never seen anybody else do it. I don't know if it's the way he almost stands up when he's doing it.
He's got a body like Gumby. Nothing hurts. He just bends every which way. Now, I got sore joints and I see this and it hurts me to watch it because I know what he's going through. I can't do those things. I mean, I never could really do them like that anyway, but I couldn't even think of doing it now with all the joint injuries. And a lot of these guys have injuries, and they come back from injuries in such a short period of time is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's had his share.
And you know what's smart about him, though, is other than, some guys you see on the indie scene or even Sin Cara earlier, he doesn't do too much of that flying. He has a couple things he does that are really spectacular, and then he does a bunch of other regular kind of stuff. I mean, he does some jumping clotheslines and whatnot, but I mean, he only has a couple real high flying moves that are really impressive, and then he saves it for those moments.
He does one that he did on SmackDown that I like, where he goes for a hip toss and reverses it into a monkey flip. I love that move.
Yeah,
I've never seen that done by anybody.
Yeah, I've practiced that, and it's not easy to do.
No, you got to get around and up.
Yeah.
But he
I'm
pulls
not
it
quite
off.
Athletic enough to do that.
Oh, yes, you are. I've seen you do stuff.
Okay.
I bet if you worked on it for like 15 minutes one day,
I'm sure I could get it.
You could get there. And it's a nice move. But it just amazes me how these guys, I mean, like him especially, he's all over the place and just so agile. And Cesaro's the same way. I mean, it's just like he just makes it look at ease.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of guys that can do that. And Barrett, we talked about Barrett before being the bare knuckles champion and all that. I mean, he'll have his place somewhere.
Right.
But I think they need to find out where.
Yeah, and there was another really cool move they did in this. I know this is the one we're talking about, where he went for the kind of big boss man sidewalk spinning slam, and Kofi turned it into a sunset flip.
Yes.
And it was just an awesome looking move, and you know that looked like Kofi almost stole that one.
That's
But,
creativity.
yeah, and that's another great thing about Kofi is his creativity is great.
That's where it all comes out.
His SOS is a really cool move. He's got a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, I always enjoy seeing a new move I've never seen before.
Fonz, do you have new
Which
moves?
happens all the
Do you
time.
have new moves?
I have all kinds of moves.
I've heard this from a couple of girls that know you.
That's good.
You can do the flying head scissors on them, right?
Yes, I can.
All right.
So then we had they did a little bit of a talked about the invasion a little bit from last night. They had a little bit of a recap of the invasion and the whole Brad Maddox situation, the referee that turned rogue and attacked. So they did a little bit of that. Then we got a backstage segment with Punk and Heyman, which I know Fonz, being an actor, was complaining a little bit about guys acting in the back.
I've studied acting a little bit. I'm not exactly an actor.
Okay, I'm
No, I
sorry.
understand.
He's got a degree in it though. He went to
No, I
he
understand.
went to a really big acting school in New York.
I'm with you on this stuff. But go ahead. I want to hear your opinion.
I just think it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, every time that they try and do one of those skits, it's just like they're just completely in their mind trying to remember what they're supposed to be saying rather than saying it.
You want me to tell you why?
Please.
Because they're not actors.
Well, for
I'm
years
scared.
a lot of wrestlers and bodybuilders have always tried to turn actors because they figure I got the body, I can go act. And in the ring, you're working, and I hate to say this about wrestling, but it is an act. You know, there's a certain amount of action going on. But it's body language acting. You're telegraphing to the audience things from as far, you know, a punch comes way back, you telegraph it. You pick a guy for a slam, you telegraph it. It's not really talking.
It's a much more physical form of stage combat.
Of stage presence. And so when you get behind the camera and you're actually talking, you're not geared, you're not trained to be able to do scenes of emotion and learn how to project your emotions through your mouth. You're projecting it through your body.
Absolutely.
It's a completely different thing. And some guys are good at it and some aren't. Now, CM Punk's good at it. John Cena's good at it. Triple H is great at it. The Rock is excellent at it. So you've got these guys who've actually studied that end of it and make it good. And you get someone else who can't, then you can really see it. It's just,
absolutely.
And no offense to them, they just never worked on it. Those aren't their skills.
Well, today it was CM Punk too, and I thought he was pretty bad today. But I've seen him before where he's been great.
Yeah.
Well, when we saw this last piece on him,
Yeah,
I thought that was really
at the
good.
very end,
I thought that was really good.
But this was
Yeah, the one in the
the one
beginning.
we're
Okay.
talking about
Okay.
right now in the beginning.
Okay.
It was a little bit, where they were saying where Stryker came in. Stryker came in to interrupt them, and they're asking about the celebration. It was like kind of setting up the celebration. They had a bunch of these in the back, and it was a little bit boring.
Yeah.
But you know, it was just at least it was only like a minute long.
Yeah.
So you can deal with it. But I find interesting too. Fonz had mentioned before, like, I wish I would stop talking, get to some wrestling. And I told you my new roommate said the same thing as I was watching SmackDown. She'd never watched wrestling before. She's like, when are they gonna stop talking and wrestle? And we were talking about this on SmackDown, how it's really interesting that they gear all that talking towards the average fan. Yet now here's two people that I've
Or that are
spoken to
average
as
fans
many
that don't
days of
like
the
it.
average fans that are going, I want to see the wrestling.
Who told us just about a week or two ago that they did a test on that and said that most people will turn on wrestling and watch it if there's promos aside from the wrestling
Was
first?
it Schmo?
Was
it
it?
Joe Schmo?
Yeah, it might have been Joe
It might
Schmo.
have been Joe.
It was him, actually.
I'm not sure.
So maybe he knows. I don't care for it. I want to get into action.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to see a car race. I want to watch the cars take off. I don't watch them talk about
Yeah,
it 20
I
minutes.
mean,
Well,
they
it's
gave
called-
right back
it's
5
called
minutes
wrestling,
here
it's
and
not
then
called
got into
talking.
it. Right.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, and you can do a 5-minute promo, 5-minute little setup, but these 20-minute like
Sure.
Miz TV segments they did
Sure.
on SmackDown take too long.
Goes back to the same old saying, less is more.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So then we got into the ladies had a little match, Caitlyn and Oksana, and
Oksana had a cool little arm.
yeah,
there.
yeah. Oksana was looking.
She's a pretty lady.
Yeah, and I think
both
she's. I think she's working on her body too. She's looking good, and she used to be awful in the ring, and not that she's the fabulous Moolah.
No, I remember
but
you saying that.
She's really worked on herself, and just her presence. I think she might have something, and they may be able to turn her.
You didn't like her at
wrestler.
first.
I did not like her at all, and she's starting to turn. You can see she's working really hard, and I respect that.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
But-
and Caitlyn was too.
There she is right there.
Oh, there we go. So there's
Oh,
the
yeah.
match. So yeah, she was looking. I still.
They're both good.
I still think Caitlyn looks good too.
Oh, she's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl. Actually, she looks better here than she did the other night.
Yeah, you were saying she looked pregnant.
Yeah, she did. I mean, if someone else had said she looked awfully heavy the other
Hey,
night.
but that was Cheryl. So.
But
I mean,
you know what? Women, their weight fluctuates from week to week depending on their period or not. They
Yeah.
have high water
Yeah.
weight. They're bloated. This is normal for a woman. But
Yeah.
tonight she looks good.
she looks great.
But she obviously works out, and she's got a stout body from training.
Yeah, she's.
But they're moving really nice.
I bet she could.
Even that pin with
she
the
could
spread.
bench press you right off her.
Anytime she wants,
Yeah.
from any position. I'll go with any of it.
So yeah, I actually, for a Divas match with two girls that were so green,
Yeah.
and so young and new, I thought they did a really good job. I thought they really worked hard. I thought it was a fun match.
I'm
I
with you,
enjoyed
man.
it.
I agree.
I respect
Yeah.
your opinion because you can tell when someone's working when they're not.
Mm-hmm. I know Fonz and I both enjoyed the Divas tonight. So
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good night.
yeah, the whole
Entirely.
show. Yeah, I mean up into this, there were really no squash matches.
Yeah.
All the matches are competitive. Not too many backstage segments. So far, I thought a really good show. And then I guess just real quickly before we get into the next two, just ask everyone out there if they could go to iTunes
Yes.
and rate and comment on us. Give us hopefully a big thumbs up, and go and check out any of the other many shows we have here at AfterBuzz.
That's right. When you go to iTunes, now
Billy
remember,
Bob.
I'm not Maria Canales, but I'm every bit as good looking, and I expect a good rating and a good comment on my hairstyle.
You're prettier.
I'm very, very
beautiful.
sexy. Yeah. So give me a good comment and a thumbs up, please. I need that at my age. My ego needs it. iTunes. All right.
All
so,
right, so we then moved on to Brodus Clay and
Yes.
the current reigning United States champion Antonio Cesaro.
one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, and this is now
That was
here we
the
go talking
flying
about which
uppercut.
I have never seen.
It looked like a video game.
It was the normal European uppercut, but a flying version off the second rope where he flew and turned his body into it, and I've never seen that
He's
before.
very well coordinated.
Yeah, he impresses me more every
Yes.
time.
I liked him when he first came out, but the past few times I've seen him, I'm even more and more impressed.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a hell of a. You know what? The body he has is not a bodybuilder. It's not a wrestler. It's an athlete.
Right.
He's got a good athletic build and all the muscles in the right spots, but his moves are precise. His footwork is great. His handling of his arms when he goes from hold to hold and flies around, everything is just challenging. And like you said, he's always in the right position for his opponent.
His timing, his
Timing.
footwork is incredible. It's like there are certain things that would have impressed me a year ago before I started wrestling, and I would have been really impressed with him. And then there's those things that I understand now of timing and footwork and all those things that impress me even more.
Yeah.
Those things that I guess the average person wouldn't look at and see, but those are the things like, wow, look how he just moved from here.
Well,
to
you're
there.
on the inside now because
Exactly.
you're wrestling.
And he's one of the guys that's impressed me the most
Yeah.
with that type.
It's different when you're inside. You see it.
Yeah.
Somebody from the outside, like Fonz might not see that. He sees what he sees, but
Right.
we see all the mistakes.
Right.
You don't see any mistakes with him.
Mm-hmm. No,
Now-
you don't.
Now Clay.
But even if you don't understand those things, it looks when someone like him gets out there, it looks different, and you can't put your finger on it. You might not understand, but there's a reason you look at that guy and go, "Oh, he's real good." I don't know why, but he's real good.
It's polished.
Yeah.
Brodus Clay, his real name is
He's another
George.
Fun one to watch.
I'm sorry, who, Brodus?
Yeah.
He's a really good guy.
He's just got that charisma.
I met him in Gold's Gym about 4 or 5 years ago, and he wanted to come train in the ring with me.
Mm-hmm.
And every time Saturday come along, he'd call me, I'm working for Snoop Dogg. I can't get there. He was a big guy, and I approached him one day. I said, hey, you ever thought about getting into wrestling? Oh, I did. I was with WWE. I trained. I said, I had no idea because I didn't know him at the time.
He trained with Shannon.
Yes, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a monster. He doesn't look so big in the ring as he did when I met him. And I saw him in the gym. He looked enormous. And he is a big guy.
Yeah.
It just looks a little different to me now. But they've done wonders with him.
Yeah,
His character.
He's definitely a fun character, but it doesn't seem like he's got that push that he had before. Remember, he was really hot and he was beating guys up, and now he's on the losing end.
I'm losing it all the time now.
Yeah. But very big on the Saturday morning slam, from what I understand.
With the kids?
Yeah, and I haven't watched much of it, but I had another person on the way to a show the other day really saying, "Oh, you got to watch this show." That we had talked and complained about how well they've taken away the head and neck, but everyone's telling me that that's actually made the matches more interesting, that all the guys are having to find creative ways around working that.
Makes sense.
And so you have a wholly different type of wrestling match that's being wrestled on that show, and it's a lot of fun. And it's very magazine style and very kid style, and a lot of people are saying that's a great show. So Saturday Morning Slam for everyone out there.
Well, Clay, wrestling's a big cartoon anyway, but he's a bigger-than-life cartoon character, so the kids are going to love him.
Yeah. He would have been perfect in like the Hulk Hogan rock and wrestling age.
Absolutely.
The whole entrance to him just dancing there with the girls. Kids love to dance.
In his facial expressions, he's having fun.
Oh, he's very charismatic
yes.
to begin with as well.
He's having fun, so everybody has fun when they watch him.
It's a great live audience. I've always said that's perfect for the live audience. That dancing, it's so much fun.
It's a Vegas show.
Yeah, but Cesaro took him out that amazing uppercut and then hit him with this match, and another really good match. What was this? Was this our fourth one? And I thought all four so far were pretty good.
You had a promo after that?
Yeah, they showed a little thing which I was getting choked up watching. I don't know about you, I'm a big baby, but they did a thing on John Cena doing his 300th wish and being given an award by the woman who he gave whose son has passed and gave his second wish to, and she was talking about how that left all the way up to her son's death. The day before he died, he was talking about that. So, just how much John Cena means to these kids and the amazing thing he does, and that he's said, I'm not going to stop him and do 300 more of these, and more than any celebrity in history, and still going
on his own.
Yeah, he just, and it's one of those things he never really publicized. It's now starting to get some publicity because it's such an amazing feat, but he never tried.
Great job of keeping on time with this show.
Oh, here we go. There's a little bit here of it. It's just a really. I mean, I was getting choked up just watching this piece because it was really well done.
It's really special what he's doing.
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. And like I said, he's not being forced into it. He does it on his own.
No,
absolutely.
And that's the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's, I know, one of the things I've heard him talk about why he purposely kept cameras away from that for so many years. Like, he didn't want it to be looked at that he was doing this for any other reason other than helping all these kids and doing something wonderful. So, John Cena, obviously, a great guy.
I applaud you.
Yes. We applaud you, John Cena. Even though there's a lot of people out there going, "Oh, here's the Cena people."
There's our audience
talking about Cena. Sorry, Cena haters. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that don't like Cena. So,
all right.
Yeah, but you can't not like.
No,
that.
absolutely.
No,
not.
It's a beautiful thing. It's giving back. You got to give back.
So then we got into this kind of promo skit thing where Vicky Guerrero brings out two people who we have no idea who they are. Right, and one of them was a couple actors, I'm assuming, or just a couple extras, I'm guessing they had in the back. And the first one was a girl that was supposedly the waitress at the night that John Cena and AJ had dinner together, saying that they were whispering into each other's ears, and it didn't look
very hard for me to hear this.
Oh, yeah, I know, because AJ's your girl.
That's right.
AJ's
been cheating on me.
It's even gonna get worse, Rick.
Oh God.
So. Then the guy comes forward and he works at a parking lot, and John and AJ were in a car for over an hour.
Oh God!
And so Vicky is now going to show the photos of AJ and John in the car, and John Cena's music hits, and out comes John Cena, and what was he? I forget what he says, but he essentially says, "I'll show you something. You want to talk about something?" And turns around and starts making out with AJ. And they stop, and he turns around to talk to Vicky, and AJ runs up, turns him around, and just goes at it. And AJ and John Cena were full out making out in the middle of the ring for a good couple minutes.
I don't know how much more of this I can take.
I'm sorry, Rick.
We had such a thing going, her and
they're
I.
They're Facebook friends.
Yeah, and her Girl Scout outfit coming to my door and selling me cookies. I invite her in, and we go from there. I become the scout leader.
Rick is very jealous of anybody who gets near his girl AJ.
That's
so
right.
I'm sorry.
I'm kind of like over it now, though.
I know.
I got to move on.
You got to.
Maybe I'll settle for Vicky.
Oh, you do like Vicky, huh?
Oh God.
You like the cougar?
Imagine living with that thing.
Oh yeah. So then Ziggler came out and attacked Cena, and Cena went to chase him. And then here's the thing: Cena chased him and appeared to roll in, and went limping off, getting out of the ring. Either rolled his ankle, or we found out later that it was his knee. And it looked like a real legit injury, but it played farther into the storyline as far as the show goes. So it's like, are they riding on the fly here? Is that just a really good sell on that?
Or did he really hurt it?
Or did he really hurt it? So definitely,
Well,
bravo to keeping the riders keeping you guessing. Because if they just did that on the fly and just played to that injury, I mean, that's great.
That's real good.
Yeah.
Well, you know how that is. That's calling it as you see it.
Yeah, and I have no idea if they did it, if that's how it happened. But if they've got us question it. That's
they
good.
showed the replays, and we actually went
Slow-mo.
back and rewound it in slow-mo, and it really looked like
Well, let me ask you something, Ryan. Are you going to look into this deeper when you get home and find out what it is? Would you do that? Let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
You do your research?
Yeah, who knows? If
Make some calls?
I don't know if that'll slip out there. Maybe
No,
it
but
will.
if
I'm
anybody
sure it
can find
will.
out, you can.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just know the proper website to go to and then find out if it's crap or not, because half the stuff you read on those is wrong anyway.
What website would that be? Would it
Wrestling,
be
there's a bunch of you can.
He has them all listed.
You
They're
can-
all over his walls and on his computer.
I shouldn't promote any specific site. You can Google wrestling sites and find anyone.
Fake injuries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Bing,
That's what I was- I was
Bing,
giving you an
Bing wrestling websites. So,
Ben Crosby.
yes.
Okay.
So then we went to something that Rick always talks about,
Yes.
Orton and Del Rio, 2 out of 3 falls.
Let me explain something about this because 2 out of 3 is old school.
Mm-hmm.
You have your.
And Jerry Lawler spoke about this a little bit.
Did
too.
he?
Yeah.
Because you have your first fall, and then you have your second fall, which can go either 2 in a row or just 1 each, and then the third fall you never know where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
It can just be a twist in the end. It can be was it a short third fall?
No, it was a pretty long third
Because
fall.
a lot of times they're short, right to the point. So it keeps you wondering out of 2 out of 3 a lot more than a singles match is. I mean, like a single fall, and it's interesting. I mean, you don't have to have them all the time, but back in the day, they were all like that.
Yeah, and this was a
It's
really good
semi-main and main events,
Right,
not
right.
the opening matches. They were all 1 fall.
Yeah, and that would almost be an important match that would build up like a feud almost or
Right,
something, right?
yeah.
It would be like the final. Like it wouldn't be 2 guys just meeting for the first time.
And it's usually a screw job in the end somehow. Now, I've done this many, many times on my dates, by the way. I have 2 out of 3 falls, and then I go home happy. So sometimes she wins, sometimes I don't. Just depends on the girl, if I'm putting her over, or if I'm out for the trophy. But this is how it works in wrestling, and I think it's nice to bring it back a little bit and have the 2 out of 3
Yeah.
because it gives something different to look at again. No one wants to see the thing all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the same restaurant every night. I want to see something different in the ring.
And I like they did one on Raw, and it wasn't just like on a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
when they usually seem to do them. And,
Yeah.
and like we had a 2 out of 3 to build up this feud. Kind of hopefully this will be the end of the Del Rio Orton feud, but
It's
this
gone
is
a long
good
time.
way it's gone a while, and this they had their street fight over in London that was like a half hour long, and so hopefully this will be the culmination of that. But this was, I thought, the best match, my favorite match of the night, and I love the way they constructed this with Del Rio constantly, as he always does, working that arm, trying to get his
Very good at it.
for his finisher, and dragged Orton almost out to the corner, got out of the ring, and was just slamming his arm up against the post. Got DQ'd doing it, but he did so much damage on Orton's arm that he then went in on the second fall, worked on that, and got the submission.
And Orton sold it.
And Orton sold
That's-
the entire time.
that's your old school.
Anytime Orton would get in the corner and he'd hit with his left arm, and I kept watching that, and his selling on that arm was so good. When he went down to a stance for the RKO, hit that out. Anytime
We
he
had this
even
talk
used
Sunday.
that.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what you have to do.
And I was watching for a time for him not to sell that, and he sold it every time. Anytime he even, fell or brushed that arm on anything,
Right.
he would sell that.
That's the way to do it.
He was
That's
still
wonderful.
using it, but he would sell it every
Yeah.
time.
Using it,
and-
but with injury.
Yeah, and a great match. Orton finally gets the RKO and gets the victory over Del Rio.
I have a few favorites. Like I say, Cesaro is like really coming up my rank, but Orton I always like. I just think
yeah.
Orton just does his job so well.
Yeah, I remember
He's
when
believable.
Yes, he is.
when Eric Bischoff first went to TNA, I saw him interviewed, and someone said, if you could have 3 people from the WWE, who would you take? And he said Randy Orton, Randy Orton, and Randy Orton.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Del Rio's great too.
Del Rio is amazing as well.
He's got the looks in his face, the eyes, and everything. All his facial expressions. As an actor, everything's right in here, and he has everything right in there.
Yeah, he grew up in the business.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
never loses his character here.
No, he doesn't, but I just don't find him interesting to watch, believe it or not.
Well,
Really?
Well, he speaks
Like-
very highly of you.
Well, he should.
What doesn't connect you with him?
It just, I don't like his character.
Okay.
Like, it's...
Is it because he's a bad guy and you don't like him because he's not supposed to?
Pretty much.
Okay, so he's doing his job,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
Okay.
You don't like the
Like-
big fancy car and a towel around the neck?
No, it kind of annoys me.
It
Yeah,
annoys me too.
which is exactly
but
what it's
it does
supposed
me
to do.
too. I don't see driving a car into the auditorium, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
Right.
They ride horses in cement
But it's
trucks.
obnoxious, and I love it because he's honking the horn in
Yeah.
this expensive car with this announcer that's announcing him. It's so pompous, it's so
Yeah.
arrogant, it's so ridiculous. I love it.
I
And
want
you're
to slap him.
and that's exactly
All
what you're
right.
supposed to do.
Who's that
That's-
compared to? The honking the horn is like Vicky Guerrero screaming.
Mhm.
It's the same thing to your ears. It's annoying.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really like her either.
Like, remember the right to censor with the
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that would hit him boo anytime that would go on.
Yeah.
That's what those guys are paid to do.
Exactly.
You know, if Del Rio walked out and they cheered, he should have a job because he wouldn't be doing his job.
Relating to movies, you see actors on talk shows. Anthony Hopkins, for example, he plays a bad guy, and he says the people just hated him. He says, "If you hate me, I did my job as an actor."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And it's the same thing as wrestling. If you hate them, they're doing their job.
Yeah.
So then we had if you could call this a match, the Great Khali with Epico and Primo out there, and I don't know what the point of this was. Hornswoggle comes running out with flowers and gives them to Rosa Mendez, and she sniffs them and squirts her with water. And then she tells Epico and Primo to get him, and Khali chops them each once, goes for the pin, wins, and then Hornswoggle dances with Khali.
That's the
it.
part of the three-ring circus.
Yeah. And you know what? I know Vince is very classic on comedy after a big heavy moment,
Yeah.
and we had that big 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah.
That was almost a culmination of this feud, and so here's a little goofy thing.
They do that in the
to bring us
three-ring
down.
circus. They have the thing, and then they have someone come around on a motorcycle with a chimp and go crazy with a clown, beep, 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 and then they're out the door. And your next act comes and follows.
Fonz likes Rosa Mendez, though.
Yeah?
Who? The
The-
chick that got sprayed with
Yeah.
water? She was alright.
They're all okay.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say her, Oksana, or Caitlyn is your favorite?
I take Eve.
Or AJ? I guess we could throw AJ and Vicky Guerrero in
Can
there.
I take them all?
You can, but if you had to choose one
I don't know.
as your favorite
Caitlyn,
diva, if you were gonna.
What about Eve?
Caitlyn or
Eve wasn't
Oksana,
there tonight,
actually?
so-
Eve's gorgeous.
Yeah, I don't know if he would know who Eve is on his memory banks. He might.
No.
If you saw her, you'd know. She has
Yeah,
nice
he would
lips.
know. If he would know if he saw a picture of her.
But Caitlyn and Oksana both, actually.
Yeah.
Either one.
And they're two separate blonde and brunette, so every choice.
Then we had another Heyman in the back's situation, yelling at a guy he wants balloons. So then next we had a match. We went on to David Otunga versus The Miz, and another good match.
I would imagine that's a great match.
Yeah, I mean that's now what is that? That's our 7th match, I think, of the night.
Yeah.
And another good match. It wasn't a squash. That that was entertaining.
Both the guys are good. They could both work.
They're both great.
Like,
Yeah.
it's about the same level.
And I like tonight, they're giving guys like Otunga and some guys that might usually, have a shorter match and get, not get as much offense in normally, letting them kind of even it up, even if they're not getting the wins, show some stuff what they can do. And I think it made for a better show tonight.
And when they work with somebody of the same caliber or even better, they even work better. It's the same
Absolutely.
thing. You're only as good as the person you work with.
Yeah. It is.
Unless you have to carry them, of course, if you're really good, you can carry them, but it's still not a good match.
Right.
But Miz is good, Otunga's good, and so they work. They both have value.
Yeah. Miz won with the skull crushing finale and another good match.
He's another guy that's just built like an athlete.
And not only
Otunga.
that,
Talking about.
are you talking about Otunga?
Yeah.
Otunga.
Oh, he's got a great build.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
great build.
and a lawyer. I mean, they were talking about, and I know this is true, that he's
Undefeated
he's
as a lawyer as well.
undefeated as a lawyer. He's won 20 cases. I
He-
think
he
he does
owes-
pro bono
He
cases.
owes a lawyer's belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he was a mechanic, he'd have the fan belt. He would be a bodybuilder. It's in that caliber. That's how good he looks. And the Miz is an all-around good athlete, good actor, everything. I mean, on the mic he's great. He can act.
He's a great personality.
Great
He's a guy who'll have a
personality.
job forever, as
Yeah.
long as he wants it. As long as he doesn't do something stupid.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
No.
He's not the stupid type.
No. he's one of the guys that can represent best. You know, he'll go to all the Nickelodeon stuff and the kids stuff. And
Well, I've seen him
he's
on Channel
TMZ
5
all
in the morning. He
time.
comes on with the guys in the morning news, and he's very much a gentleman. Speaks very well, dresses really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has it all together.
Represents the company well.
Very
That's
very
what
much
what they like these days.
Yes, you got to have it. You'd want that if they were your people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then we went to Sheamus versus Damien Sandow, and Sheamus came out and did a little bit of a promo first. That what is it? He wants the Big Show essentially, and Big Show came out, and they got into it, and then Sheamus came out, or Sandow came out, and they had their match.
I know that Sandow's one of your favorites.
Sandow's one of my favorites. What do you think about Sheamus?
You know, I like Sheamus. I don't know, that whole match. Like, they got into the headlock.
Keep going.
Oh, they got into the headlock, and I just lost it. I feel like the headlocks in wrestling, I don't buy them. I always
Okay,
see,
you're
like,
talking about he's talking about the chin lock, and he's not a big fan. Yeah, we were
the backwards
talking
chin
about
lock?
this. Yeah, you know, the reverse chin lock, when you have it there, you feel sometimes it looks loose, and like the guys aren't really.
It's an awkward move, and I don't think you have much leverage at that point for someone else. In reality, that I would never use that. I'd use a front face lock if I was going to do anything to take them down.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm always seeing like their
Like their
chin like
space.
moving from up
Well,
here to down here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand. There's air. You don't want air in between. You want it closed off.
Right, and it's just I don't
Yeah,
know.
you
I
don't
see
buy
that,
it.
and I'm just like, ah.
They can get out of that one easily enough.
Yeah.
Fight the guys.
And
out.
I think sometimes you might have a situation where the guys are actually tired, and you know they're just.
It's a rest spot.
loose. Yeah,
It's a rest spot.
exactly what it is.
Don't tell
So-
it, fans. You guys didn't hear that. It's a rest spot. We all have to have our rest in the ring.
What do you think of Sheamus? Like, as do you?
Overall, I like him.
Okay, so you connect with him because he's like the guy they're trying to push as one of the big guys.
I enjoy watching Ryback better, but
Okay.
I mean Sheamus, he's enjoyable to watch. He knows what he's doing. He's powerful. He's got moves that he can throw people, you know, and then he can actually speak pretty well too.
Yeah, and he looks different.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's unique.
I've never seen anybody quite that white.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential. I'm almost feeling like him scaling up a little bit. I think they need to do something to freshen him up a little bit. But I mean, I love Sheamus. I think he's right there. I'd just like to see maybe them put a little more of an edge to him, or you know, is it time to turn him heel? Maybe not, but
sometimes his dialogue isn't exactly right. I mean, it's like he's reading it to me.
I like his delivery, but I don't always like his content.
Content's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a good wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
but we're getting back to the same thing. My train of thought is going back to like when we saw Ray Stevens the other day, and Pat Patterson, two big guys in the ring selling and beating each other up, and you believed it.
Yeah.
And Sheamus being a big guy and throwing punches and doing stuff, if the other guy sells for him, like really puts him over, then I'll believe it more.
Yeah.
But it all gets back to the two-party thing. You're as good as your partner. If someone's selling for you, it makes you look horrible.
Right.
If you're going to have a match and you're putting your best out there and the guy doesn't sell, you're going to look horrible. You're not going to look strong.
No, absolutely.
And you're going to hate the guy for not doing
You
it.
gotta sell for the other person.
And then vice versa. They'll sell for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sheamus is good. There's no question about it. It's just that little thing bothers me.
Right, and then Sheamus wins with the bro kick.
It was Sheamus that was actually in that hold earlier.
Yeah.
That
Yes, I know.
and it was him that, in my opinion, wasn't selling. And
Yeah, I know.
was
That's
costing.
exactly what I mean. You have to sell that. Sandow's a good wrestler. He's got great psychology. He knows what he's doing. But you'll see, no one's 100% perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's just the way it is.
I understand.
Yeah, I enjoy Sandow a lot. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
It's nothing. It just, I mean, again, I don't watch wrestling all
Right.
the time. by
That's
any
even
means,
better though,
but
because
Which is great. Yeah.
I tend to see that a lot with that particular hold.
let me ask you a question. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
You know, when you watch wrestling and you watch a match and you know that the finishing move comes up and they do it, bang, it's over with. You ever think to yourself, they could have done that 10 minutes earlier? They could have caught that guy and finished it right then. Why'd they drag it out 10 more minutes just to put the end in? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I never really even think about that.
Think about it. Because I know why, and he knows why. But I wonder if people ever wondered when they see a match and they say, oh, he just did his RKO or whatever he did. He could have done it 5 minutes sooner, but he didn't take advantage of it. he lost it until here.
I think though,
Well,
so
I mean,
a good guy will work that in of trying to get it, and the person working out of that too.
If you do work it in.
If you do work it
but
in.
if they don't work it in,
Right.
Why didn't you? Because that's your
Exactly.
finishing move.
Yeah.
You're going to go to a count of 1-2 and kick out, or 1-2 and kick out, and then try to get that move in throughout the match as much as you can. You're always trying to get it in. It's just like when you're taking a bolt out of a car. You're going to keep going back until you finally get it. You're not going to wait till the end to get it because you
Yeah.
need it earlier.
I guess the idea of it is, your finishing move is something that, it's a big devastating move that you're not going to hit on someone who's fresh, so you have to work them into it. But they don't always tell that story. I think
No.
that's just a story that's kind of assumed. I think like Del Rio's the guy who tells that the best, who from the beginning is telling you that he is working to that finisher. That
You
is
have to.
something he is chipping away at the guy trying to get that move.
And the only other reason that they do what they do is because the head office tells you got to go 10 minutes and then hit your move.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're not going to hit it before. And then they have like the suplex off the top rope, which is a finishing move. They have all these other ones, and the guy kicks out.
Yeah.
Those are finishing moves. They should be held to the finish.
Right.
Absolutely.
You can't kick out of that and keep going full blast like it never happened to you. Those are little things,
At the
old
same
school.
time, too, you can't tell every single. That's a story, and you can't tell every story all the time. so-
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I mean,
Okay. Got that off
but
my
that
chest.
is definitely one that I think they should tell more often, and
Yeah.
they should use that storytelling of trying to get that move
Yes,
more often.
I think so.
Okay, so we had that, and we moved then on to tag team match, which was we had a little thing in the back with Tamina and Vicky and AJ, and John is hurt. Is this the? Did we skip over the part where AJ went into the locker room, or was this it?
I think
Oh,
that might
okay,
have been
this is it. Yeah, that's right. There were two different sections. So she's in there with Vicky and says, "John is hurt. What are you going to do about it?" She says, "I'm not going to do anything." So AJ then goes into the locker room and walks up to Ziggler and starts to say something to him, and Ziggler just gets up and totally dresses her down. Basically calls her trash, says, she just gloms onto somebody, and then when they dump her, a part of her dies until she gloms onto somebody else, so they get rid of her, and
she does it again and again
again and
now she's
again and
nothing.
again and again. I know, Rick.
No, no. I'm not going to say that.
What's that?
You know me a long time now.
Yeah, and you
How many women do I know that do that the same thing to me?
and you have a new one every week.
Every week.
Every week you got a new one.
I got a new
It's
one.
Unbelievable.
And it's the same drama. It's the same story.
And now they're younger than me.
I'm getting down to about 16, 15 now. Before they know how to do this stuff.
That's why I said I'm like, this is crap. I have to date. I have to compete with you for girls now. He's dating girls my age.
I am. Younger.
Younger
Yeah.
than me. I know.
Hey, listen. If I can do it, more power to me, right?
Absolutely.
I had a woman in the gym got mad at me who's in her 50s. That's too young for you. I said, why? I'm a single guy. I can do what I want. They want to go out with me. We have a good time. Oh, you need somebody older. I said, I don't want somebody old with 1 foot in the grave and all
Yeah.
dried up. Screw you. I'm going to take the
That's why
young
you're not
ones.
married anymore.
That's exactly why. That's why the Rick has what he wants. Right, guys? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
So AJ then slaps Dolph, and they get into it a little bit. John Cena comes flying in. They fight, and then
They start working the newly injured knee.
yeah, they start working the knee, and they fall in. What is it? I think Ziggler throws Cena into the stall, and the whole bathroom stall collapses and breaks, and they basically beat up Cena there.
A lot of construction guys on that show keep busy.
Oh yeah.
And think about it, all this is over little AJ, little Girl Scout.
Oh yeah.
It's not worth it, guys.
But I like it better than the general manager storyline.
I do
That
too.
was not working.
No.
And this is much better.
It's a much better story.
I mean, they basically stole this from TNA's Claire Lynch storyline.
You were
but
telling me, yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Joe Smo talked about how guys will watch things and say, "Hey, we could do that better," and they are doing it better. It's much more interesting.
That's a fact of
So-
life. Everybody steals from everybody.
Yeah.
You
I
draw a
mean-
cartoon, someone takes it and changes it, and they make it their own. But that's what people do,
Hey, how often do you have two
Romeo
movies
and
about
Juliet has
asteroids
been
crashing
made how many
in the same
times?
year? Yeah.
In how many different ways?
What? For
Romeo
what?
and Juliet
Oh yeah.
has been made how many different times in how many different ways?
Exactly.
Yeah, and just movies or TV shows that are the same thing coming out at the same time.
Well,
You
let's
see
put
all
it this way, real quick, because I don't want to veer off wrestling. But you get a reality show, and I pitched a
Yeah,
few.
we're gonna get the buzzer, so watch out.
No. It's the same sort of deal because everybody copies. They copy TNA. They copy
Mm-hmm.
this. They copy that. Reality shows for a long period of time were 3 judges and an English host.
Yeah.
It worked, so they copy.
format.
So it's a format. So if WWE sees TNA and they see them doing something, it's working, they're going to use it in their own terms.
Yep.
Which makes sense. Why not?
Yeah, and say, well, they did it wrong here, and we're
going to do it right.
We'll make it better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It works.
So we had Sin Cara and Mysterio versus Team Hell No. They had a nice little match there until the primetime players attacked and had a little schmoz go on.
Yeah, I like that word too.
Schmoz? Yeah, it's a good word, isn't it?
That's a good word.
Did you just make that up?
No,
No.
that's an actual word. That's
It's an actual word for a schmozzle wrestling thing where
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's wrestling terminology.
Kind of goes crazy.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at you. You learned
I
something
learned
new.
something today.
Yeah.
Fonz is going to be using the word schmoz tomorrow.
It's a very good
everybody.
term.
I will try and remember that one.
And then we came into our final segment.
Wait,
I'm
I just
sorry.
want to say one thing. You think they'll ever put Sin Cara and Mysterio against each other?
I don't know, but it will be a great match. But it's not time for that yet, because
No, we know that. I'm just saying between you and I and you.
I'd like to see
That would
it.
be awesome.
I'd like to see it.
Just to watch what they could do.
Yeah, and
They're both so aerobatic.
So skilled, and they work together so much. You'd see amazing stuff come out of that.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's time to split him because Sin Cara hasn't learned everything he knows. Obviously,
No.
we have seen such a big difference in
Yes.
him over the last month or two since they've teamed these guys up, and you can see Sin Cara becoming a far better wrestler,
Yes.
really adapting to the WWE style.
But I was going to say this the other day on SmackDown. If you put the two against each other, I mean, not today or not next year, year after, whatever, just to see the skill,
yeah, 6 months down the road, a year down the road.
just to see the skill value would be awesome.
That's something I want them to build up to, though, because that could be a really big
Oh, yeah.
pay-per-view match.
Oh,
That
yeah.
could be really awesome. Give them 10, 15 minutes to go out and tear it down.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Great.
Be a great match between the two of them. Teacher and student, really build that up. Maybe turn Sin Cara heel and do something.
That's
with
been
that.
done before with The Mechanic and other movies where they take a hired murderer and he takes on the apprentice. And the guy becomes better than him and
Classic
kills
wrestling.
him. Same thing.
Teacher taking on the student is the classic story. And
Classic
they've
story.
done it in wrestling so many times. They'll continue to do it, and it's something.
Because you have a new
can
audience all the
always
time.
do. Yeah,
You have a
can
new
always
audience
do
who's
that.
just never seen that.
Well, you can always just put different spins on the same story every time, too.
Sure.
Right. And then we're now into the final segment with the CM Punk celebration. Today is 1 year he's been champion, which I am a huge fan of because I'm a big fan of long title runs. I know you are, old school wise.
Yeah.
Like Bruno Sammartino held the title two
Forever.
separate times. 7 years and then a 4-year run. I think he's got the longest and like the third or fourth longest.
He was a
reign.
huge draw back in the day at Madison Square Garden. I
Yeah.
mean, he would sell out every time.
7 years, 7 or 8 years he was
Bruno
champion.
was a good wrestler, but he also had the look. He had that big demonic looking look.
And
it's-
in New York.
in New
being
York, of course.
The New York Italian.
Yeah, and the Italian. It sold a lot. And then he brought his son David into the business, who's actually on my Facebook.
Didn't quite.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
David turned to bodybuilding, and he sends me some emails. He's like real lean and skinny now, but it didn't work for wrestling.
Yeah, he just didn't have what his dad did. He can't. It's not always there. You don't always have a Randy Orton who
No.
It becomes better than his father.
Well, but, that's right. That's true.
Yeah, but
And,
yeah, Bruno's
then
amazing.
Pedro Morales, how long?
Pedro's about 3 years. You had Bob Backlund who held it for like
both good guys.
7. Hogan held it for 4, and then had another year-long run, which he's now surpassed that. So Punk's at 365 now. It was number 8. He said, I think. He's
Yeah,
8th
and
all
then
time.
Savage
is-
was Randy Savage. It's like another week, and
So
then
next
another
week
week from that is John Cena.
Right. Oh, here's the celebration. And they have the little poster up there that has all the top 10 reigns of all time. So once he hits Cena, which is, I think, it was like in 2 weeks. It's like 380, 381. It will be like 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which he will. Then the next one, it will be Pedro Morales will be the next, which is 1,000 days, which is over 3 years. That we're not going to see that. So that's as far as Punk is going to go.
I've run some of Pedro's matches on Old School. I loved working with him. I worked in the area with him.
The match with Fuji we watched.
Yeah, I mean,
was
it
fantastic.
just he and Bruno and who else did you mention back then? Oh, Backlund. Were all pretty much legit wrestlers. I mean, they knew their stuff, and Cena's good too. But then you get down the road to Hogan, not really.
Right.
He just had the charisma.
Yeah, he was the modern day superstar.
Exactly.
He was,
And Paul Heyman back in the day when he first started out, and he
he's a
had
photographer.
when he had long hair and he was skinny, to me he looked almost like Michael Keaton.
He did.
a lot.
Yeah, he did back in the 80s.
Yeah, it's like this is crazy. Michael Keaton's in the ring. Yeah. Not now, of course, but
yeah. But I love the fact that they've, you know, obviously we had Cena was the last guy to hold it for a year about 5 years ago, and then I think before that was maybe Diesel had it for about a year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him.
So you don't see these very often. It's really rare you get a year-long run, and I'm glad they gave that to Punk because, you know, I was really hoping he wouldn't lose last night because once it's gone, it's gone. It'll take another year to build a guy up like that. So, and hopefully this will lead up to him taking on The Rock at the Royal Rumble. So,
well, Punk's deserving. He's worked his tail off to get where he is.
I've got to give you this documentary to watch, and you'll love that. It's
when he first started out, I said, "Who's this skinny guy with the tattoos? Is he ever going to be anything?" You know, but he's done it. You know, and he did it on his own. He proved himself to be what he is.
Yeah, and that's great because that's what most people said. You know, and here's this skinny punk kid from Chicago, this indie guy who's undersized, who should never have made it, and then every time he was starting to make it, people would try to cut his legs off from under him because he wasn't supposed to, and he continued to make it until they couldn't deny him anymore.
He doesn't look to be undersized anymore. He's filled out. I don't know how tall he is.
Supposedly he's over 6 foot.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
But he's filled out. He's been training. You know, he works out. You can see that. He's not a bodybuilder, but that's fine. He doesn't need to be. But he is thickened, and he looks great. He looks like, you know, looks like he's supposed to look.
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe he is what he says, the best in the world. So, in my personal opinion, he is right now.
I think you're right. Yeah. I agree with you on that one. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, so then we had the whole celebration. They said he then went on, you know, basically saying Triple H couldn't do what I've done. Bret Hart couldn't do what I've been. The best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. I guess that makes me the best there is. The best there is, the best there
if you're the best and you've done that and they haven't, you are the best.
Said The Rock hasn't done it. Named all these names that haven't done what he's done. And said now he's going to head on, beat Bruno Sammartino's record and continue on to be champ until and no one will tarnish that until Feed Me More hits the ring. Fonz's guy.
Feed me more.
Yeah.
Well, they played that off pretty cool by not letting him get to him. Because you want to see it, but you don't want to see it.
And here come the NXT guys, which I'm hoping this turns into kind of an NWO invasion. We start seeing all these guys from NXT jump over because we've seen invasions before.
Like NWO?
Right. Yeah. But we've never seen it with a group that had their own TV show.
Right.
And they have their developmental TV show NXT. They shoot down in Full Sail in Orlando, which is an excellent show. And so you could have them attacking WWE, those guys coming down attacking them and on their show. And we've never kind of seen that before. NWO didn't have their own show, which was originally the idea, but they never did. And then when WCW invaded WWE, they didn't have their show anymore. So it was, you've never had the true invasion where you've had two competing shows back and forth. And NXT is still WWE, but it's far enough removed of all these kind of developmental guys.
It's funny when you call it invasion because I had written up a reality show I told you called Invasion of the Body Slammers. This would be Invasion of the Body Slammers.
Yeah.
Taken off from the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, of course.
Right.
But it's the invasion's a great idea.
Yeah, I would love to see that, and of course our friend who's Mr. Judas Devlin down there hopefully can get involved.
I would love that.
Could get involved in that, see him out there. But you know, lots of great young talent down there, and it would be great to see them on TV.
Yeah, you just said the magic word that kind of like puts me in my place. Young.
Yeah.
Because I'm young. Change my name to Rick Young.
There you go. I like it.
I thought you were the rickdrasin.com.
I am rickdrasin.com.
Yeah.
For all of you out there who want to know me, I am rickdrasin.com.
But he is Rick Young.
Yeah, and I am Rick Young.
Yes.
Young Rick.
Young Rick. Young Rick.
No, my son is Young Rick.
Okay.
Are we wrapped up on that?
I think that's pretty much everything we got. Is there anyone on the phone or no? Yeah.
Is there anybody we can call?
What did you think?
I'd like to call Ghostbusters.
Do you want to call someone?
No,
Let's dial numbers.
I'm
start dialing.
Start making phone calls.
It's not late enough for me to call anybody. I'm still safe. I'm before my curfew.
Okay.
I guess total thoughts on the show.
Yeah.
From what we gathered here, it sounds like it's one of the best shows they had.
It is one of the better, in my opinion. What did you think? I guess you're the.
If you don't have an opinion, Fonz, we'll give you one.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I have an opinion. It was good. I enjoyed it overall. I mean, there were certain parts of it that, again, I didn't think were great, like mostly the acting.
Every 3-hour show is gonna have that.
Absolutely. You can't have the entire thing just be amazing, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
As long as you got your money's worth.
I didn't pay
Did you get to get a hot dog and a Coke, too?
I did have a Coke.
Did you? Well, we have popcorn out here if someone will make it. Martin.
Yeah.
Martin, we like to have some popcorn. Martin's having a good time over here. He keeps looking at me, and I think he doesn't know how to take
Oh, here
me.
we go. Here's the guys taking out Ryback.
Yeah, there's another
the
thought
end of it.
right there. That table has to cost a few bucks.
Yeah, I think those are the breakaways, though. I think they.
Yeah,
could
but what
probably
about
take
all
it.
the engineering stuff inside of it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
You mean the TriCaster?
Exactly, because I wanted to buy TriCaster, and they're not cheap.
I'm sure they have something set up where those things can survive.
They're probably not
And
the real
I'm
ones.
sure all
sure.
of that equipment is insured.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that it's not the real stuff. I mean, come on.
I'm sure it is, but I'm sure they have a way. I mean, those tables get regularly destroyed.
Totally.
So that's part
But
of,
you have
part
all
of it.
your cameras, equipment,
Yeah.
and not your cameras, but everything else in there.
So.
Well,
yeah,
and
that was.
this is
that's
the
pretty
part.
much it.
This is the part where you get to plug yourself.
Wait,
I don't mean it that
any,
way.
Any predictions for anything coming up? Or
I predict
nothing?
that next Monday night will be Monday Night Raw again,
Yep. And Friday will be
That's
Friday
pretty good.
Night
and Friday will be
SmackDown.
Friday Night SmackDown.
Yep.
I predict main event on Wednesday.
And I predict our wrestling class Saturday morning at 10 with no rain.
Yes. I predict no rain this time. I've been in the ring in a couple weeks.
I think you're right.
And I predict I am going to enjoy this week off of work.
Yeah, Fonz does not have to work this week.
Well, I'm going to work at an egg farm,
Reality
and that's no
TV.
yoke.
Uh-oh.
That's not what you did there.
You're an actor?
No, I work in reality TV.
I thought you said you were an actor.
I said that.
Went to school for acting.
He has a
but
degree in that.
And what are you doing in reality TV?
A production coordinator.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
This is Reality Tonight.
A little bit.
Where can we, if people want to look you up and see who you are, where can we find you on the internet? Facebook?
Instagram.
No, I'm Instagram. Yeah, I've got an Instagram account. I'm no longer on Facebook.
Why? We could have been Facebook friends.
We
I
could have
know.
been, but now we're just real life friends.
I think this is better. I feel a connection, don't you?
Yeah, much more than Facebook.
Yes. And Instagram is under
Next
your...
time we'll have Fonz sit next to you.
That's
So,
fine.
yeah,
We'll
'cause
pull
I
a
know
Shannon
you always
Ballard with
like
him.
that. Yeah, there you go.
So if anybody wants to find you on Instagram, we can.
The Fonz Lips.
The Fonz Lips.
The Fonz Lips, like the apocalypse.
Oh, the Fonz Lips. Okay.
Yeah, your world is now post-apocalyptic.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
is
very,
that
very
good?
nice words. That's a
He
million
should be a
dollar
wrestler.
$1 million words out of a 2-bit mouth, right?
I think he could be a good wrestling manager.
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah, throw some gold chains on him.
Well, he's your
full
guy.
hat.
You're the one wrestling here.
Yeah,
Hire him,
definitely.
for God's sake.
We're working on
Let's
it.
get a lot of money out of him. And Ryan,
That's the plan.
where can we find you, buddy? Because you're
you-
always all over the
Oh,
map.
I'm all over the place. December 1st, you can find me at Millennium Pro Wrestling, Simi Valley Boys and Girls Club, 7 o'clock bell time. And then you can catch me now on Twitter. I'm trying to be a little more
Good.
active on there. So Cluminator, Cluminator.
I'll have to add you.
I'm already following you, so you can probably follow me.
I follow you right in this room.
And then you can also find me on YouTube. I have a bunch of matches up there. So,
Under?
YouTube/Ryan Clum, RYANCLUM. So
cool.
Find me out there.
You're adding to your collection.
I'm working on it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rickdrasin.com. And you can find me at rickdrasin.com and rickscorner.com, where I interview legends of bodybuilding and wrestling. On my website, I sell books on pro wrestling, how to build a ring, how to open a wrestling school. I sell my life story. It was the golden years of bodybuilding, which is doing really well. I just got an award for a Lifetime Achievement Award for Joe Gold. And I have a wrestling school in Sherman Oaks, California, and we wrestle every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So you can find Ryan there as well as me, and look me up, rickdrasin.com. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, and I would just say thank you for coming in today, and I know this is a busy day for you, but
Mondays are always busy for me
thank you
because
for coming in and filling in hosting. We've had actually people request you out here, and
well,
Ryan was nice.
I had a good time, and I want to thank you people for watching me and making me feel at home. And I'm going to go home and make chocolate chip cookies for my daughter when I get off of here.
Oh, sounds
And
good.
Bogey, because Bogey got a haircut. Bogey's my
right.
dog.
And Ryan Katz and Josh will be back next week, so
And-
don't ask where they are online. They'll be here next week. They're
And
out.
hi, Ryan Katz from Rick Drasin. We love you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.